Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
In the Common tab of the Format Editor dialog box, you can set many options that will always be available for selected fields. You can type a name for a single selected object into the Object Name text box. This name, which can only consist of letters and numbers with no spaces or special characters allowed, is used for object referencing in various parts of Crystal reports, such as the Report Explorer and the Repository Explorer if you're using Crystal Enterprise. If you use cascading style sheets to apply formatting to reports, you can type the class name for the selected object into the CSS class name text box. Class names are used by cascading style sheets to define and apply a pre-created format or style to the selected report object. Checking the Read-Only checkbox will prevent additional formatting alterations from being applied to the selected object in the future. It does not, however, apply any type of report security. Checking the Lock Position and Size checkbox will ensure that a user does not resize or move the selected report object in the future. Checking the Repeat on Horizontal Pages option allows you to repeat objects like report titles, for example, across horizontal pages in reports that contain horizontal page breaks, like ones created by some crosstab and OLAP reports. Checking the Suppress checkbox will suppress the selected object from appearing in both the preview of the report and the printed output. Checking the Keep Object Together checkbox will prevent breaking the content of the object with a page break when printed. The Horizontal Alignment drop-down allows you to choose a left, center, right, or justified alignment, or you can choose Default, which is left for text fields and right for number fields. Checking the Close Border on Page Break checkbox will ensure that if an object with an applied border is split with a page break when printed, the border will appear closed at the end of the page. Checking the Can Grow checkbox will ensure that an object which may appear within the report with a variable length will be able to expand the field size vertically to accommodate all of the text. After checking this option, you can specify a limit in lines to the right. If you leave it at 0, then the field can grow as large as necessary to display the data. In the Tooltip Text text box, you can specify the text you'd like displayed in the small yellow text box which appears when a user hovers their mouse pointer over the report object. You can also use the Text Rotation drop-down to rotate the text either 90 or 270 degrees. You can check the Suppress If Duplicated checkbox to suppress the display and printing of duplicate values in a field of data. Checking the Suppress Embedded Field Blank Lines checkbox, which is not available currently, would suppress the display and printing of any blank values of a field embedded within the text field, if available. Once you've made any changes, you can always click OK to apply the changes, or cancel to close the format editor, and then select another object. Another type of field that you might format would be a number field. And in the Number tab of the Format Editor dialog box, you can set options for the display of numeric fields in the report. You can select one of the many preset numeric displays for numbers and currency fields from the Style list displayed at the left side of this tab. And if you do have a currency value field selected, you can check the Currency Symbol System Default checkbox to apply a currency symbol to the field's display. If checked, then below that you can select either the Fixed or Floating option. If you select Fixed, the currency symbol will always display at the left edge of the field. If you select Floating, the currency symbol will appear directly to the left of the number itself, not necessarily the field. Clicking the Customize button towards the lower left corner will actually launch another separate dialog box called the Custom Style dialog box. And here you can create your own custom displays for the number and currency symbol used for the field's display. On the Number tab of the Custom Style dialog box, you can check the Use Accounting Format checkbox to set the appearance of the object to a traditional accounting display. Checking this option will display negative numbers in the report by referencing the Windows regional settings. They will then be displayed as either a minus sign or by brackets. This will also determine the position of the negative symbol. In addition, the dash symbol will be used to display zero values in the report, and the currency symbol used will appear fixed at the left side of the field. Checking the suppressive zero checkbox will hide the field's display in both the printout and the preview if it is zero. You can use an alternate character for the decimal separator by typing one into the decimal separator text box if desired. Otherwise, the period character is used by default. You can then use the decimals drop-down to truncate the numeric display to the number of decimals specified by this drop-down. If you check the thousands separator checkbox, you will enable a separator for the thousands value in your numeric display. The character used is set to the comma character by default, but once again you can specify another character to use by typing it into the symbol text box if desired. You can use the rounding drop-down to select the number at which you would like the value displayed in the selected field to be rounded to. And you use the negatives drop-down to select the desired appearance of negative numbers within the selected field. Checking the leading zero checkbox will add a leading zero to the display of decimal numbers between 0 and 1. Checking the reverse sign for display checkbox will reverse the traditional signs used to indicate debit and credit values in financial reports. You can use the Show Zero Values As drop-down to select the format used for the display of zero values in the selected report object. If the Allow Field Clipping checkbox is checked, field values that are longer than the displayed length of the field in the report are truncated. If unchecked, the field's values will not be truncated, but will instead appear as pound signs, as they do in Excel, for example. The pound signs simply indicate that the field is too narrow to accurately display the field's value. Now, once you've made your desired selections for your custom numeric style on the Number tab, you can then click the Currency Symbol tab at the top to set your own custom display of the currency symbol if desired. You can check the Enable Currency Symbol checkbox to enable the display of a currency symbol in the selected report object. If checked, you can then select either a fixed or floating display for the currency symbol. If you check the One Symbol Per Page checkbox, the currency symbol will only appear next to the first value displayed in each page in the report for the selected number field. Use the Position drop-down to determine the position of the currency symbol displayed. You can actually type a currency symbol to use into the currency symbol text box if the default symbol of the $ is not desired. Now, once you've made your custom number selections, click OK at the bottom of the Custom Style dialog box to return to the Number tab in the Format Editor dialog box. Once again, when you're done making your changes, you can click OK to apply them, or Cancel to cancel the changes which you've made. Now, in the Format Editor, you may also choose the Font tab. The Font tab allows you to view choices that you can make to change the display of the text in the selected report object or objects. Clicking the Font drop-down will display a listing of all the available fonts on your computer. You can select the desired font face which you use for rendering the values in the report field by selecting it from the list displayed here. Using the Style drop-down allows you to apply a selected font style from the drop-down of choices available. Typical choices include bold, regular italic, and others. However, note that the choices available in this drop-down depend directly upon which font was selected in the font drop-down. Some fonts simply have more stylistic options than others do. You can use the Size drop-down to select a font size, measured in points, which you want to use for values displayed in the selected report object. You can also simply type a desired font value directly into the text box to specify a font size not displayed in the drop-down menu. This field accepts fractional font sizes, such as 10.5, for example. You can also use the Color drop-down to to select which color you want to use for the text displayed in the selected report object. If the color you wish to use is not shown in the small palette of colors displayed, you can instead click the More command to invoke the Color dialog box. In the Color dialog box, you can select from the expanded palette of colors, which are available over in the Basic Colors palette at the left side of the dialog box. You can also create your own custom colors if desired. To do this, click on one of the white color cubes under the Custom Colors section. Next, click and drag the small black left-pointing arrowhead in the color strip at the right side of the dialog box. Pull it down from the top of the strip towards the middle to increase the darkness of the color displayed in the Color Solid box. Next, click and drag the mouse pointer around in the rainbow gradient to change the color displayed in the Color Solid box. Note that you can also change the color by typing the desired numbers for the hue, saturation, and luminosity into the text boxes provided, or by simply typing in the amounts of red, green, and blue into the text boxes provided as well. Now once you have the desired color displayed in the Color Solid box, simply click Add to Custom Colors in the lower right corner to set the color displayed as a new custom color. In the future, when you do invoke the Color dialog box again, the selected color will be displayed here so that you will not have to recreate it in the future again. Now when you're finished in the Color dialog box, simply click OK to return to the Format Editor dialog box. On the Font tab still, in the Effects section of the Font tab, you can check the Strikeout checkbox to apply a strike-through to the text displayed in the selected report object. Checking the Underline checkbox will apply an underline to the text displayed in the selected report object, and note that the underline will also appear under space values in the selected report object as well. You can type a number value in points into the Character Spacing Exactly text box to set the value that you specify to be the value that each character in your selected font occupies, horizontally speaking. This value is measured from the start of one character to the start of the next adjacent character, and this does not affect the size of the font used. So as such, ensure that if you do use this feature, that the font has enough space to display the characters in the field without having the letters in the text appear on top of one another. You can click the Border tab in the Format Editor dialog box to set the appearance of any border that you would like to appear around the selected report object or objects. Use the drop-downs that appear next to the left, top, right, and bottom labels to choose the line style that you would like to apply to the selected side of the report object. You can select either none, single, double, dashed, or dotted. You can check the Tight Horizontal checkbox to set the border to appear as tight as possible around the data displayed within the field. Checking the Drop Shadow checkbox will simply apply a drop shadow which appears under and to the right of the report object to the selected report object. Use the Border drop-down to select the desired color of the border applied from the drop-down list of choices. Note that you can also select the More command here to invoke the Color dialog box again, if the color you wish to apply isn't available. You can also apply a fill color to the selected report object by checking the Background checkbox on the Border tab. If checked, this fills the selected report object with a color that you then specify using the drop-down that appears to the right. Once again, you can select a color displayed in the drop-down menu of choices, or you can select the More command to invoke the Color dialog box again, or you can choose from a wider range of colors or create your own custom colors. Now, if you have a selected Date/Time field within a report to format, then you will see a special Date/Time tab within the Format Editor. You can click on the Date and Time tab to set display options for selected date/time fields. On the Date and Time tab, you can click on any style listed in the Style box to choose the selected style as the style used to display date-time values in the selected report object. Clicking the Customize button in the lower left corner will launch the Custom Style dialog box where you can create and apply your own custom date and time styles to the selected report objects. In this dialog box, there are 3 tabs which you can use to specify the custom date-time format that you desire: Date and Time, Date, and Time. If you click the Date and Time tab within the Custom Style dialog box, you can specify the desired sort order for date-time values from the drop-down of choices available: Date then Time, Time Date, Date, or Time. You can also choose which separator you want to use between the date value and the time value from the separator drop-down on this tab. Or if you wish, you can just simply click into the text box shown and type your own separator character that you would like to use. If you click the Date tab, you can set a custom display for the date value in the selected date-time field. You can use the Date Type drop-down at the top of this tab to choose to set the date display to the short date or long date based on the system setting of your computer. You could also specify a custom display from the drop-down. If your operating system supports multiple calendar types, you can choose which calendar type to use from the Calendar Type drop-down. You can then use the month, day, year, and era period type drop-downs to set the display for those specific types of elements within the date format. In the Order section, select the desired option button for the order of the month, day, and year elements. In the Day of the Week section, you can click on the desired type that you want to display: short, long, or none. To the right of that, you can use the Sep, Enc, and Position drop-downs to select a separator character to place between the day of the week and the actual date value. Select a character set within which you can enclose the displayed date, and choose whether the day is shown at the beginning or ending of the date-time value by choosing leading or trailing from the Position drop-down. If you check the Link Separators to Date Order checkbox in the Separator section, this will include the specified separators when sorting date fields. Below that, you can use the Prefix box to create a prefix for the date, such as the word date and perhaps the colon symbol. You can also specify a first and second separator character to be used between the 3 elements of the date display. You can then type any desired suffix value that you wish to display after the date values into the suffix text box drop-down. If you would like to create a custom time value, click the Time tab in the Custom Style dialog box up at the top. You can set a custom display for time values in a selected date-time field in a report here. If you check the Use System Default Format checkbox, the report will display the time values in the selected report according to the current system settings in Windows. Below that, you can either select to display the time as a 12-hour or 24-hour value by selecting the desired option button. If you select the 12-hour display, then you can choose what characters you want to represent the hours from midnight to noon by typing them into the 0 to 11:59 text box. If you want something other than the default value of AM, you just type it right in. You can do the same for the hours of 12 to 23:59 if you prefer a value other than PM. You can then choose the symbol position, to the left or to the right. Below that, use the hour, minute, and second drop-downs to choose the displayed format for the 3 elements of the time value. You can also choose or type a character to use as the hour-minute separator and the minute-second separator in the boxes provided. When you finish creating your custom value, you would simply click OK at the bottom of the dialog box to return to the Date and Time tab of the Format Editor dialog box. In the Format Editor dialog box, you may also have a Paragraph tab appear when you have a report object that is text-related selected. On the Paragraph tab, you can set the paragraph attributes for the selected text object. You can use the first line, left, and right text boxes to specify a number, measured in inches, by which you would like to indent either the first line of each paragraph, the entire left side of each paragraph, or the entire right side of each paragraph. Use the line spacing drop-down to select either multiple or exact. Selecting multiple will set the line spacing to be a multiple of the font size used, and selecting exact will set the line spacing to an exact number of points, which you then specify in the Of text box to the right, where you would type either the multiple or the exact number of points to use. In the reading order, you can choose whether the text is to be read from left to right or right to left by choosing the desired option button. If you have a text data field selected, you will also be able to select None, RTF text, or HTML text from the Text Interpretation drop-down. This can assist you in correctly displaying RTF or Rich Text Format, or HTML or Hypertext Markup Language format data in a text field with the correct formatting if needed. If you have a text object like a report label selected, you'll then be able to set horizontal alignment for the selected object using the Alignment drop-down. If you have a graphic to format in your report, then you will actually have a Picture tab appear in the Format Editor dialog box. And this will allow you to set formatting options for the graphic in your report. On the Picture tab, you can input the number, measured in inches, that you want to cut away from the image by typing the measurement into the left, right, top, or bottom text boxes in the Crop From section as desired. In the Scaling section, you can specify the width and height as a percentage to which you would like to scale the image. Or you could simply click into the Width and Height in the Size section and type in a desired width and height. If you make any changes to the size of the graphic and would like to reset the changes that you've made, you can click the Reset button in this tab to reset the alterations made to the image file for display within the report. When you're ready, click OK to apply the changes. If you have a selected report object that was a logical value, you would have a Boolean tab in the Format Editor dialog box. And here you would just choose the display of the logical value, like true or false or yes or no, which you would like to use for the report. If you have a selected report object to which you wish to set a hyperlink upon which the users could click when previewing the report, you can set those types of options on the Hyperlink tab in the Format Editor dialog box. In the Hyperlink Type section, you can choose the option button that corresponds to the type of hyperlink that you wish to create. The options that are available depend upon which object in the report is selected. You can choose the No Hyperlink option to remove a hyperlink from a field, and this is also the default value displayed when creating a new hyperlink. You could select an email address and then type the email address to which you want the email sent into the email address text box after the mail to protocol which is shown, such as johndoe@aol.com, for example. You could also select the option up above for a website on the internet and then enter the website address into the website address text box after the HTTP information. So there you could type www.teachucomp.com, for example. You could also choose the A File option button and then just click the Browse button to create a hyperlink to a file on your organization's computer network if desired. If you selected a report data field which contains website values displayed using the correct http://www.someplace.com syntax, then you can actually select the Current Website Field Value option button. This will create a hyperlink from the data contained within the field that the users of the report can click upon to visit the selected website. Or if you selected a report data field that contains email values that are displayed already using the correct someone@someplace.com syntax, then you can select the Current Email Field Value option button, which will create a hyperlink from the data contained within the field that the users of the report can click upon to send an email to the selected recipient. If you have a subreport within your main report, you may right-click on the subreport and choose the Format Subreport command. In the Format Editor, click on the Subreport tab, where you can specify the setting for any subreports you've inserted into your main report. We will discuss using subreports in a later section. However, it is still useful to inspect what options we have for controlling the appearance and settings of subreport data. In the subreport name text box, you can type in a name to quickly rename the display of the subreport from within the main report in which you have it embedded. If you check the On Demand subreport checkbox, it will create a hyperlink to the subreport versus embedding the subreport into the main report itself. Checking the Re-import when opening checkbox will re-import the subreport each time that you open the subreport, displaying any changes that you have made. If you check the Suppress Blank Subreport checkbox, you'll hide blank subreports from displaying in the main report. When you have finished specifying formatting options, you would just simply click OK to apply the formatting to the selected objects, or Cancel to cancel the formatting changes you've made.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.